Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Bachiru. So Marvel Tōkon finally came out and I'm very happy to get my hands on the game. So in this video I just want to share some quick fire beginner tips just to help you start it immediately with the game. So if you find the content useful, please subscribe, leave a comment and let's begin. So basically Marvel Tōkon is a 4 versus 4 tag fighting game, and the mastery of the game will come eventually from mastering 4 different characters. But since you're starting the game, basically, let's focus on some basics just to get us started with the game. So number 1, I don't think you should really invest a lot of time trying to learn a character immediately, but instead just focus on mastering the system mechanics. So let's walk you through the system mechanics and just see how you can take advantage of it. So let's talk first of all about the movement. So the movement of this game is similar to games like BlazBlue and Guilty Gear. So your characters can walk backwards and front, of course. You have dashes depending on your character. Some characters they can run, some characters they float. So for example, Black Panther, she can run. If you dash, you can backdash, you can air dash, the same. So movement is really like a traditional anime air fighter. You can air jump, you can dash. Some characters, for example, they can float like Danger. So it really depends, the movement options really on your character. One of my biggest advices when you're starting to learn the game is you can utilize definitely double pressing the direction button to dash or to backdash, but I would rather that you bind the button and you can use it for dashes. So for example, on my arcade stick, it's the L1 button. So when I'm running, instead of me mashing dash, I can just do this. It's really great for movement and it helps you with instant air dashes. So just keep that in mind. So I feel like movement in this game will be really important. So now that you have a general idea about the movement, let's just basically move to the system mechanics. So this is just a very general overview just to help you get started with the game. So number 1, the biggest system mechanic in this game basically is the assists. So when you start the battle, basically you start the round, you will only have access to your point character, which is your main character, and your first assist. So the assist which is on the top right. So for example, in my case, it is magic. So the first assist usually that you get is what you call a projectile assist. So it's what lets you shoot something far away. So you can either trigger the assist by pressing the assemble button neutral or by pressing it with front. It doesn't really matter. However, if you are attacking and your hit lands and you hit the assemble button, instead you get a follow-up attack. So this allows you to extend your combos. And we'll talk about combos a little bit later on. So choosing your first assist usually is really critical because it really helps you in your neutral game. So for example, if I'm playing Black Panther and I'm moving around and I need to get myself an opening, I can actually throw my projectile like this. Then I can, if it hits, I can confirm into my other assist, so on and so forth. And then you can actually just go in. You can actually also do it to get in. Then you can switch to your character, and this is how you basically start building your team building. So let's say that you only have 1 assist. How do you get your other assists? So the way that you get other assists is by triggering wall breaks. So how do you trigger wall breaks? Basically, when you grab in the corner and you get this animation, and this basically triggers something called the stage transition. So if you don't have all your characters, you will have access to your other character. The other way that you get it is that if you're landing a combo and you land an ender that does a pushback. So for example, in Black Panther's case, if I do the special move, see it does a hard wall knockdown. But if there's another corner to go, the wall will break, then I will get my other assist. The third way is basically that if you lose a round. So getting your characters in the very beginning, it's really important. So you have to strategize a way to get more of your assists, because the more assists you have, the more your ability to abuse the system mechanics becomes apparent. One thing also you need to understand is that you have under your health bar up here, there is something called the team gauge. So when you have only 1 assist, you will only have 1 bar. The more assists you get, you start to build more of it, eventually until you reach 3. So if you're using the system mechanics or the follow-up, for example, you start consuming the assist bar. However, if you do assemble on neutral, it doesn't really consume anything. So keep that in mind. So number 1, you can call assists, and if you call the switch button, so let me see in my case, let me just go to my button settings. It's called the tag button. So if you press the tag button in neutral, you will call your first assist, which is on your right side. If you press it with a directional button, like for example down, you will call your second assist. And if you call it at the back, you can call your third assist. So that's something to keep in mind. All right, so moving on. If you're landing a combo, let's go back to Black Panther. So if you're landing a combo, you can actually do two things. So number one, you can follow up with your assist, then you can swap to that assist. So basically you press the assemble, then the tag button. Or what you can do is call the tag button, basically. Let's test. Oh, no, that doesn't work anymore. Apologies. So basically you can call an assist, you can switch, then you can follow up and you can continue your combo. And then this is how you basically use it. So the smart thing to do later on is that you can call multiple assists at the same time, and then you can switch to a different character. So you can throw more than one character on the screen. So let's say, for example, I throw Penny Parker, Magic, and Danger. So since the last character I called is Danger, this is the character that you'll switch to once you press the tag button. So let's keep that in mind. So understanding the tag mechanic, it's really important, and it really helps you like build your gameplay mechanics. So now that you have the team gauge open, let's talk a little bit about additional system mechanics. So if you press in my case it's called, I'm sorry because I just got the game. So if you basically press the assemble button with your light, you can start using some of the system mechanics. So this is an overhead attack and it has an armor and basically leads to a combo. So if you press it, and if you have more of your assists, if you keep pressing the button, as you can see, you can call your other assist and you can create like a big combo. And this allows you also to do a wall break. So if you keep pressing A, it allows you to do the finisher. However, if you keep pressing the assemble button, you will call your other assists, and then you can continue actually with a follow-up combo. But as you can see, the more assists you call while you're doing this attack, the more you consume of the team gauge. So you have to be smart about it. So this is number one. Number two, you can actually press back with the assemble and the light button, and this will allow you to do like an evasion move that will counter your opponent's attack. The third one, so let's do a blocking exercise. So if you press the assemble and the light button, you can actually do a crossover move, and this counters your opponent, and then you can basically counter, then you can swap to that character. However, your opponent can actually counter this crossover. And one thing to keep in mind, that if you manage successfully to do a crossover, as you can see, you can go back and gain advantage in battle. All right, let's go back to assists now. So assists are very important because they allow you to do basically a lot of things. So number one, they allow you to control the neutral. So basically, while you are controlling your main character, you can call assists on the screen, and they can help you actually approach and control space. So this is number one. Number two, they allow you to pressure your opponent. So if we set Captain America here to block everything, basically it allows you to extend your pressure sequences, and it allows you to create mix-ups. So this is where like the creativity will really come when you're basically trying to attack your opponent. And remember that if you activate an assist while you are pressuring, it will actually consume 1 bar of the team gauge. So let's say, for example, under normal circumstances, this is not really safe pressure. So if Captain America is like programmed properly, he can counter us in that scenario. However, if you do it like this, and you call your assist, then it will allow you basically to extend your pressure. So the third thing, it allows you also to extend your combos. So we'll talk about the combo section at the end of this video because it's really important. So let's say, for example, I'm Black Panther, and I do this move. I can call an assist, then I can extend my combo. And then you can continue your combo using your assists. So assists are really versatile, and this will really help you determine like how you will basically be creative in the game. You can actually also swap mid-combo. So for example, you can then switch to Penny Parker, you can reset the situation. So the more you learn about this game, the more you can utilize the assist mechanic better, honestly. The final thing that I want you to think about is basically the combo system of this game. So the combo system of this game, it doesn't really rely on the traditional like hit stun scaling that you see in other fighting games. So there is a system implemented in this game. It's called basically the 10 stack combo. So once you hit the 10 stack, the combo ends and then your opponent can recover. So what does that mean basically? So number one, each attack it contributes to the stack. And once you accumulate 10, then your combo will end and your opponent can recover and act again. So normal attacks, they do 1 stack. And if you can see, when you're hitting the combo, you will get 2 meters. Number 1, the first meter shows you like the hit stun under the number of hits, and number 2, there's a blue meter. So that meter actually counts like the stack that you have. So normal attacks, they do 1 stack. Auto combos, on the other hand, they take 5. As you can see, like the meter filled up like really fast. So that's why like auto combos are not really encouraged if you want to do long combos, basically. Number 2, EX moves, they don't really consume anything from that stack. So if I do this, as you can see, the blue meter didn't really move. So basically, it didn't count part of the stack. So if you want to extend your combos, you can actually use that one. Number 2, there are moves that allow you basically to regain some of that stack. So for example, if I do this, and I call an assist, as you can see, the stack became less. And if you do a special move, it also, as you can see, it doesn't really contribute to the stack. So understanding how you can structure your combos to take advantage of this will allow you to either like do like really nice long combos, and number 2, it will allow you basically like to position yourself. So you will get to choose, do I like do like a really high combo with a lot of damage and I consume my other resources like meter, like my team gauge, my assembles, or do I basically just rely on an auto combo like to finish things quickly? So my encouragement is that understand like how you want to structure your combos and move on from there. So don't really be intimidated that you have different combinations and different attacks and etc. Just try to build that in your mind. Also, when you are doing combos, so let's set Captain America to block again. So basically, your attacks, they all have follow-up. So if you do A, as you can see, it links to different attacks. Standing B, the same. C, the same. So you can pressure with A down A, B down B, as you can see. And then you have a limit on the number of like pressure sequences that you can do. So A down A, B down B, then it will not go into C. So experiment with your character, just to understand what kind of pressure you can do. So the linking of moves together like this is what you call basically the Gatling system. So light buttons, let's talk about also buttons like really quickly. I know this video is not really structured that much, but I think like if you learn these tips, it will help you like just to pick up the game quickly. So if you do light, it's what you call a jab. So it's basically your fastest button, and usually it's your safest button. So you can link multiple jabs together. This game doesn't have the system that if you press back and a button that it will basically like repeat that button. However, if you press like light like this continuously, it will trigger. But if you press it with back, as you can see, the rest of the combo doesn't really continue, or the pressure sequence. So mediums, they have good range, and they're usually like good utility for combo starters. So if you see Black Panther, she has like really great down medium. C are longer range attacks, and this is what they call heavy. They have like great reward, but usually they are unsafe buttons. Down and heavy, it's what you call a launcher. Then some characters, they have what you call like command normal. So for example, for Black Panther, if you press back and heavy, it allows her like to do this armor. So that's something to keep in mind. The same thing for the aerial attacks. So Gatlings, you can link light, medium, heavy, down, and then you can continue. You can actually also do a pressure sequence like this, then you can continue into what do you call like your auto combo string. So experiment what kind of Gatlings that you have. Okay, and the final thing I want to cover, and I will just glance on it like really quickly, because this deserves its own video. It's basically what you call the unique mechanic for each character. So every character, they have their own unique mechanic. So for example, if you press the U button, in my case it's, I think it's, what do you call it, mapped to button A, or X in my case for my arcade stick, it allows you to do like the unique mechanic of the character. So for Black Panther, for example, it's like a unique mechanic move. So for example, if I'm attacking or I'm pressuring, I can actually do this just to cancel my movement and extend my combos, and it has its own resource. For example, for a character like Magic, it allows her to teleport, for example, from the air, so on and so forth. For a character like Danger, for example, it allows her to shoot like this projectile that, and if you link it, it allows you to do like additional links. So experiment with your character and understand what kind of unique mechanics they have. So the final thing also is that if you have 150 meter and you have your teammates and you are on the losing round, it means that your opponent will win the round. If you press, what do you call it, the assemble and the ultimate button, you can do something called the Tōkon assemble. So this calls all your characters and it launches like a super flashy, super move that allows you basically just to gain a lot of damage, and this is really unskilled. So this is like a trump card kind of thing, and it allows you to come back. How useful it is, we will see, because the cost is really high. And also, if you execute the light auto combo, you can actually go into this Tōkon assemble. So how useful this will become in play, we will see eventually. But for me, it's flashy, and it looks cool, and it calls out your character, so we're gonna say nice to it. Yeah. So, all right, guys, that's it. Definitely, I'll be making way more Tōkon content as the game develops and I get to learn more things and I have more experience on my hands. But I hope that you find this video useful. And as always, if you enjoy the content, please subscribe. Leave a comment of what kind of content you want to see, which characters you want me to cover, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.